Hello, friends. This is Annette of AnnetteLeonard.com, coming back for another moment of chronic wellness. I'm continuing the conversation about these tender, bare, exposed parts of myself. And if you want context for that, jump back in time to episode 262, and that'll catch you up to speed. So, I think both because of my family and because of my own personality, I have always been more concerned about timelines and calendar and when it's going to be done by and just the particularities of life than my wife. And recently, I would say in the last 6 to 9 months, for her, that part of my nature has been occurring like I am controlling, parental, maybe even dictatorial. We got into a fight the other day. I mean, a fight maybe isn't fair. We got into an argument about she was mowing the lawn. I was making dinner for us. I was overtired. When she didn't come in immediately after mowing the lawn to help out with dinner, I got really angry. And when she came in after putting stuff away and in my perception, dinking off in the garage, I was just done. And I was like, I can't believe you said you were going to come help with dinner after you mowed the lawn. And she was like, I did. And I was like, no, you fooled around in the garage. And she was like, I was putting stuff away. And I was like, and? Because I was clear that it was more than just putting stuff away. It took longer. And I was overtired and I was hungry and I went off on her. And this is a fight that it feels like we've been having in some version, large or small, for the last 24 years. And I'm reminded of a joke that I saw on a recent episode of Mad About You, because they've made a new season of the television show Mad About You. And he was like, how do I know I married the right woman? Because we haven't yet found the end of that argument. We've had the same fight for 25 years and we're just not yet done. We haven't found the resolution to that argument. And I love that perspective because I know the fights we've been having for 24 years. And this is one of them. And I was bitching to the counselor about the way in which I can tell my wife my perspective and she can't tell it back to me. And I'm so frustrated by that because I can hear her perspective. I can tell her her perspective. I could spend all day standing in her perspective and crowing about it, speaking from her perspective. And I ask her to just repeat back to me my perspective, and she can't or won't or doesn't do it. And my counselor said, well, don't you think that also is coming across as controlling, parental, or dictatorial? And I was like, stop making sense. No, I want her to hear my perspective. And she was like, great. I want her to hear your perspective too. Just keep telling her your perspective. And these were small revelations to me. Doing it that way, having her repeat back to you, your perspective might feel this thing that she already feels like you're being. Okay, note taken. And B, just keep sharing your perspective is not something I'm good at. And I think it's connected to the way that I disconnect from my own experience. It is easier for me to go about telling her perspective than it is for me to go about repeating mine. I feel like once I've said it, you should have heard it and now acknowledge me for it and we can move on. But to have to keep saying my perspective is as uncomfortable as having to keep telling you how my body feels. It feels like complaining, or it feels like attention grab, or it feels like pulling focus where the space isn't mine to take up. And that's when I realized the ways in which I accommodate myself and don't take up space in the world. I take it up in these other ways by being a hose beast about like you dinked around in the garage, but I'm not willing to take it up by just saying, this is my perspective. Oh, wait, I'm too tired to make this salad. Sit my ass down. Like, whatever it is. It's one more way that I'm detaching from my own experience and not showing up for myself in my life and reinforcing things I don't mean to be reinforcing. So there's another little aha, and an important one at that. So I don't believe that this necessarily concludes my series on these little exposed roots in ourselves. And yet, I have a really exciting interview that I cannot wait to share with you. And I plan to have the first one edited for tomorrow. So I want to tell you about it. So you hang in here and tune in tomorrow. If you're familiar at all with the platform The Mighty, which is about first-person narrative stories about health and disability across the spectrum, it is a feast for those of us who are in these bodies and these minds that don't always cooperate in the ways that we expect or mean for them to. I have a conversation with the founder of The Mighty, and I cannot wait to share it with you. So I hope that you'll tune back in. I'm breaking it into chunks now, and so please stay tuned for my interview with Mike Porath, the founder of The Mighty. And you know, I'm real grateful you're here. So thanks for tuning in. You know I want to hear from you. And if you have not subscribed, I hope that you will. And until we're together again, thank you for being here. And please find ways to tend to your wellness.